friends, welcome back. Being a writer myself, I thought that it's necessary and important to share that there are three essential personalities of a writer, and they are quite essential to become a better writer. So whenever I think about writing, this quote from George Orwell always comes to mind. He wrote, "Writing a book is a horrible, exhausting struggle, like a long bout with some painful illness. One would never undertake such a thing if one were not driven on by some demon whom one can neither resist nor understand." So I think a writer's most important task is to sit on their typewriter or a computer and bleed into the page. Writing is similar to a trance state where only the writer lives and has the God's power to decide the fate of the characters in the worlds that they have created. Most writers never want to leave this trance state and enter the real world to make their work available to people. I'm not ashamed to say that I am one of them. However, there are two other aspects of being a writer that need attention to become a better writer. So whenever a writer is writing a book or an article, there are these three personalities that have to come through and shine together to make the work a success. Gradually, every writer either figures out all three personalities or learns with experience. So let me share those three personalities with you. The first personality is the creative genius, and this is the best known and appreciated aspect of being a writer or a creative person. This personality of the writer only wants to write and let the words flow on the paper. They don't care about anything but taking out the story in their head out on the paper to make it tangible before it slips away in the lost realms of the mind like stars in the vast space. They don't think and care about what will happen after they are done making their imagination a reality, at least on paper. Personality number 2, the self-editor. This personality of a writer is somewhat underappreciated. The creative genius has done some marvelous work by realizing the extraordinary visions in their head. However, this work needs to be presentable before anyone bats an eye on it. Correct? And the work of the self-editor is to remove the dirt of the fruit they bore before asking anyone to take a bite out of it. The self-editor and the creative genius don't know if the fruit is spoiled or edible on the inside. This is for the biter to bite and decide. As a decent host, you won't give a dirty piece of fruit to your guest, right? Then why would you provide messy writing to your readers? There will always be some bias when it comes to self-editing, but at least you have tried your best to make it as presentable as you can. Professional editors can look at your cleaned fruit, tell if it's spoiled or edible. Let them do their work, but only after you have done yours. Now let's talk about the third personality, which is the self-agent. This personality is sort of the most dreaded by the writers because it almost doesn't involve letting the creative juices flow within the writer's mind. In self-editing, when going through your work again, there might be chances for the creative genius to shine here and there, but the chances are slim to none in being an own agent. Now that the fruit is ripe and the dirt is removed, the fruit needs to reach a grocer who can decide if the fruit is worth receiving and then can be sold later to potential readers in this case. This will not happen automatically out of thin air. The grocer needs to be contacted. A sample of the fruits must be shown before they agree to put it on the shelf with their other products. The creative genius personality is the most important because the other two personalities of a writer can only come into picture after the work of the creative genius is done. A writer can't think that their work is done after they are done writing. The seed that they planted is worth nothing if the clean fruit is not presented to a grocer who can sell the fruit to all the fruit eaters of the world. My personal approach to all these three personalities has been like a roller coaster. When I started writing my own book, sometimes I used to go back and edit parts and found myself stuck in a scene for long durations. However, honing my plan a little better and allowing the three personalities to exist almost mutually exclusively provided me with sanity and furthered my process of finishing my book. The writing and going back to edit lasted till I had written about 20% of my book, but then onwards I asked my self-editor to hibernate or go to sleep for a while and not wake up until the creator's work was done. This allowed me to finish the rest 80% of my book in less than 4 months. I woke up the self editor after this. The self editor has been at work since then, and the creative person is sort of napping, waking up in between and assisting the editor. But I think it's now the time that my self agent wakes up and takes over the other two personalities' work and give them a well-earned break and allow the fruit that I bore to be reached to the grocers and then to the potential fruit eaters of the world. If you are a writer yourself, then mention in the comments or reach out to me to say which stage are you in, or were you aware of these three personalities? I'm sure you were, but did you ever give them a conscious thought, okay, that you need to approach your writing like this? And if you think that there is something else that I missed, or there is some other personality that a writer has or needs, then please do share with them with me. I would be glad to know about them, and I'll see you next time. If you liked the video, then don't forget to subscribe, like and comment to support me in creating more videos like this. I will see you again next week.